Some men are remembered for how they lived. Others are remembered for how they died, but there are a few whose courage becomes larger than time itself. Today we honor one of those men, Specialist 4th Class CARMEL BERNON HARVEY Jr., United States Army, Medal of Honor recipient, Vietnam War. This tribute is especially meaningful because it was requested by a member of his own family. Behind every name on the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall is a family that never stopped remembering, and a sacrifice that never stopped echoing through generations. SP4 CARMEL BERNON HARVEY Jr. was not a movie character. He was not a legend created in books. He was a real young American soldier who stood in the face of overwhelming enemy fire and made a decision that saved the lives of his fellow soldiers. On June 21, 1967, in the Republic of Vietnam, he gave everything. Tonight, we take him off the wall and we honor him, never forgotten. There are heroes whose names become history, and there are heroes whose actions become eternal. Specialist 4th Class CARMEL BERNON HARVEY Jr. was only a young man when war called him to Vietnam, but on the battlefield, courage revealed exactly who he was. He served with Company B, 1st Battalion, 5th Cavalry Regiment, 1st Cavalry Division. In the middle of brutal combat operations, under intense enemy fire, he chose duty over fear. He chose his fellow soldiers over his own life. And because of that decision, generations of Americans now speak his name with honor. SP4 CARMEL BERNON HARVEY Jr., Medal of Honor recipient, United States Army, never forgotten. During combat operations in Vietnam, Harvey's platoon was ordered to secure a downed helicopter. They quickly established a defensive perimeter around the aircraft, but within moments, a large enemy force attacked from 3 different directions. Chaos exploded across the battlefield. Bullets tore through the air. Machine gun fire pinned the men down. Specialist Harvey and 2 members of his squad were directly in the path of the enemy assault. The fire became so intense that both of the men beside him were wounded, but Harvey did not retreat. Instead, he increased his rifle fire against the enemy, buying precious seconds for the wounded around him. In moments where fear overwhelms most men, true character is revealed. And CARMEL Harvey showed the world exactly what courage looked like. Enemy machine gun fire concentrated directly on Specialist Harvey's position. Bullets struck the ground around him from every direction. Then the unthinkable happened. An enemy round hit a grenade attached to his belt. Arming it instantly, Harvey tried desperately to remove the grenade, but there was no time. In those final seconds, he understood something that few men are ever forced to face. He knew his fellow soldiers were still trapped in the deadly fire zone. And despite his own danger, despite knowing death was only moments away, he made one final decision. He stood up. He shouted a challenge at the enemy, and he charged directly toward the machine gun position. Nearly reaching the enemy position, the grenade exploded. Specialist 4th Class CARMEL BERNON HARVEY Jr. was mortally wounded, but his final act achieved something extraordinary. The explosion stunned the enemy machine gun crew, and the attack paused long enough for wounded American soldiers to be moved out of danger. One young soldier, through one final act of courage, saved lives. His actions inspired the remaining men in his platoon to fight back decisively against the enemy assault. What happened that day in Vietnam was not ordinary bravery. It was the kind of sacrifice that becomes part of the soul of a nation. It was Medal of Honor courage. The Medal of Honor is the highest military decoration awarded by the United States of America. It is not given for simply serving in combat. It is awarded for acts of valor so extraordinary that they rise above even the brutal expectations of war itself. SP4 CARMEL BERNON Harvey Jr. earned that honor with his life. His citation speaks of conspicuous gallantry, intrepidity, and devotion to duty above and beyond the call of duty. But behind those official words was a human being, a son, a soldier, a brother in arms, a young American whose future ended on a battlefield far from home so others could live. America must never forget what men like Carmel Harvey gave to this country.
Carmel, I never knew you personally, but standing here at this wall, reading what you did for your fellow soldiers, I feel like I know exactly the kind of man you were. You did not run from danger. You ran toward it, knowing others needed you. Men like you remind this country what courage really looks like. Not words, not politics, sacrifice. Tonight, we honored Specialist 4th Class Carmel Bernon Harvey Jr., a Medal of Honor recipient, a United States Army soldier, a young American who gave his life so others could live. These stories matter because freedom has always carried a cost, and men like Carmel Harvey paid that cost in full. To his family, thank you for allowing his story to be shared with the world. And to everyone watching this tribute, thank you for taking this moment to honor one of America's heroes. If this name mattered to you, stay with us, because there are thousands more who deserve to be remembered. VVHG, every day is Veteran Day, never forgotten.